Well, I've been wanting to do a calligraphy instruction video for quite a while, but I have some issues. One issue is who's going to watch this. One issue is, so I'm thinking, brand new people are going to watch this, and maybe experienced Shambhala people are going to watch this. I could have maybe tried to do two different things, but I think not that practical in a way. We have this practice in Shambhala. It's a calligraphy practice. It's very similar to calligraphy practices that have been done for the last few thousand years in Asia, really. One it really reminds one of is Zen Calligraphy. Somehow I think the Dralas borrowed what we call in Shambhala stroke practice from Zen Calligraphy, or just two, whatever. They're so similar as to be almost indistinguishable in a way. But so I thought I would teach Zen Calligraphy practice, and along the way try to instruct. Probably most Shambhala students that do this regard this largely as a mental exercise. I would like you to step back, learn some principles of this practice that have been time honored for a few thousand years, and maybe try to regard this as just to balance things out, regard this as largely a physical exercise. How to bring body and mind together. You're sophisticated in your understanding of the nature of mind and the workings of mind from your Buddhist practice, but you don't realize how important it is to bring the body along, which is kind of what this whole thing I've been doing is. And I would say the best thing you could do is probably ride a horse. The second best thing you can do is probably practice Kyudo. But maybe the best thing you can do is do calligraphy above all those. And it's a good argument for that. And then we have this stroke practice. Interesting. Is coincidence? I just think there's a lot of, we all jumped into stroke practice, but nobody stepped back and said, let's really take a look at it, and in that way instruct the students. So you've got basically zero instruction up to now if you're a Shambhala student in what stroke practice really means in terms of body and mind. Maybe some of you are wise in the ways of the brush, and you've completely transcended that, but a lot of you are not. So I'm just trying to help here, trying to give you some tools, trying to point my finger, which I didn't point this finger. Grandmother pointed this finger. The sages of the past pointed this finger. Let me just illustrate by this point. In the West, the meaning of an education is reading, writing, and arithmetic. In the East, the meaning of an education is calligraphy, painting, poetry. Those are your three R's. You come out with a different relationship to your mind and your body when you study that way. We don't study that way. We have never studied that way. Trungpa Rinpoche said you got to study that way, I think. That's what he was saying. Talking about contemplative arts or Shambhala arts, or I've taken fit 70% of it, don't fit 100% of it. I mean, it's not that bad, but I guess I'm pissed off that certain people forced their way into stealing our name, Shambhala Arts, which should have been our name. And they kept the Dharma art name, but didn't happen, okay, fine. But it leaves a little bit of a thing. But I just call it the Nalanda Arts. Maybe it's a bad name. You got a better name? I'm ready to hear it. I just call it that. Because we used to call this, before it's contemplative arts, in the sequence of things, it was called Nalanda Arts. So, Nalanda Arts it is. In my mind, just better than contemplative because it's not comprehensive enough. If I'm standing with a sword in my hand, Nalanda Arts is okay. Contemplative arts, I'm fixing to kill you in a 1/1000th of a second. It's good. Yes, it's contemplative, but it's got a lot of action too. It's got a lot of whatever. Maybe I'm just being a fool as usual. Anyway. So this brush is just superb and supreme. There's just like nothing like it. There's nothing like this brush to help you train your body and your mind. There's just nothing else like it. I mean, a horse is better in a way because the you part goes out the window, really, a lot of it. And you're just forced to get the news, that you're not a piece of wood, You're just forced to do it. Judo is fantastic because if I'm teaching you, you're going to learn this stuff. Because we just drill it into you over and over and over. After I say to you for the 1 millionth time, to relax this and tighten this and get your fist together. It just takes that, It takes that. It takes that in calligraphy. Maybe people want to appreciate this. And stroke practice in Shambhala, we don't look at it as an art form. We look at it as just a training. So we try to get away from the preciousness of the art side of it. But I don't know. That's very important for non-developing ego, and we really don't want to develop ego. But I don't know. I'll get into some of that later. But here's what the regent said about stroke practice. He said, and he was a great artist. He was a master of the brush before he ever heard of stroke practice. He'd done a lot of art, he said, I can't believe how many times I had to do that. The implication was tens of thousands of times he had to do it before he got it right. That's not the attitude we're promoting exactly. But to do it at 20 or 20,000, 30,000 times and progressing somehow, and you can't like grab it in a minute, but practice, making one mistake after another over and over and over, and then after a few thousand times or tens of thousands, or you get somewhere, But that's nothing, that's nothing. Throw it away, that's also throw it away. Don't hang it on your wall. Throw it away. Very important point. Don't hang it on your wall. Throw it away. So, just the care of the brush is important. So, care of the brush. First thing you do is soak the brush. 5-10 minutes before every practice, you soak the brush. That's important preparation. Otherwise, it makes it very hard to clean the brush. The brush don't work right. This brush is perfect, but there's certain things you gotta know about it. You gotta soak the brush. As long as you know that, you're fine starting out, on the beginning of the thing. Soak the brush, get it good and wet. So this brush has a certain character. It's got this soft, it's got this hard. Just like everything else, Soft, hard. Soft, hard. So, and everything about the brush is like so delicate. The brush is a picture of your mind. Mostly it's going to show you're ham-fisted, you haven't got it. But That's what we need to learn, But then there's evidence of, it just depends on how ham-fisted and how you appreciate certain rules. There's just certain rules, okay? Follow the rules. Learn the rules. Learn the rules, follow the rules. Learn the rules, follow the rules. Learn the rules, follow the rules. Then you'll make progress. If you don't learn the rules and you're doing everything backwards and just completely impossible, it's never going to work. So learn the rules, follow the rules. You want to learn what the rules are? It's like riding a bicycle in a certain way. You go a little faster on the straightaways, a little slower on the corners, okay? Slow down on the corners like a bicycle. You don't, you're going to fall over. It's not going to be good. If you don't go a little faster on the straightaways, you're going to fall over. It's not going to be good. So faster on the straightaways, slow down on the corners. There's a certain way we turn on these corners. So basically the brush, the handle of the brush points in the direction you're going. You don't go like this, like that. You don't point the handle backwards and then go that way. You point that. Now you don't have to do it a lot. Just the tiniest little bit's fine. But point the handle in the right direction and the brush follows the handle. And then when you turn, you gotta turn the handle. And then when you turn again, you gotta turn again. When you turn again, you gotta turn again. It's all about pressure in a way. And it's all about maintaining. This brush has a certain integrity. It'll spring back. So you're really working with the integrity of the brush and the spring backness of the brush. If you go too far, it don't spring back right. It's lost its integrity. So you never go too far. Many people in Shambhala, there's a point where we press, but they don't realize how to press. How you press is with your fist. Yes, you press to the total limit of the brush, but the total limit of the brush is here. It's not here. That's the total limit of the brush is here. But if you want to press harder, you use that little finger and you crush. You crush it with that little finger. You crush it with that little finger is how you press hard. And it's the whole thing is like that in a way. You want to press a little harder? Press with a little finger. You want to back off? Back off. These two are always soft. This is always the same in between these two. This is where you want to generate some power. And this makes you steady. When you make that little finger, you're doing some delicate curves that makes you steady. So you are going to put a little power into that curve to make it steady and go right. When you're going along straight, maybe you don't need that. But maybe it's at a point where you do need that, Go, just press hard your little finger. Don't screw up your brush. It doesn't work anymore. So those are some of the principles, just off the top of my head, that I would like to impress upon you. So there's a rhythm, there's a breathing to it. I would encourage you to use the out breath for every really thing you're trying to do. Out breath. Out breath. Pause. Out breath. Do something else tricky. Pause. Out breath. Just pause for a moment on the in breath, and when you're getting ready to do something that's a little more challenging, every movement starts with a letting go on the out breath. If you'll paint that way, you'll get really good. But if you don't paint that way, you probably won't learn squat. There's a lot more things, but maybe later on we'll repeat more systematically. I practice with calligraphy. Usually I'll read something. We have these texts in Shambhala which are very powerful, related to this practice, and maybe I'll read some of that. Really gets my mind in the right spot. Then usually I'll start my formal stroke practice at that point. Then at some point I'll break away and it's more like calligraphy. That's not a bad, you could switch it up if you like, but if you want to advance, it's not bad to just practice a little of the calligraphy principles. I don't know, do what you want, but that's what I did. And it's a balance thing. I get a little bit of everything I need to get that way. I learned something, I don't stay stupid. I'm learning about the brush. I'm learning one thing about the brush, but then I'm learning all in all about the brush so I can do something else, This is not a one-trick pony with the brush. Don't be a one-trick pony with the brush. Learn something about this brush because it can train you. It's the most powerful tool you have. In Shambhala, we say, this is it, man. This is your weapon. This is the most powerful tool you have to train your body and mind. And we got a certain way we train our body and mind, but don't forget this tool and the history and the knowledge and the wisdom that you can bring in. You can train your body. It's unbelievable. We're going to go into it. What the potential and power of this brush is if you bring in some skillful means to the whole thing and systematically understand what's going on. As far as the mental side, all there is to know on the mental side. It's a question of doing it, expanding it. And you got power, you got glory, you got everything on the mental side already, Why should I do anything else? Well, read my website and I'll explain it, You want to bring your body to be so much more powerful if you do what it's supposed to be doing for you. There's a reason he wants you training with this brush. There's a reason he wants you synchronizing body and mind. There's a reason he talked about that, because that's important. But you can't be stupid and get it, I don't think. What can you do and be totally stupid and get what's there? It's not possible. You can be made a stupid meditator, or you can learn some things and really go, man, really go. And you're already going, it's already so powerful beyond belief, but let's make it 10 times or 100 times more powerful and see where we go. It's like that. Whoopsie doops.